Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. The Meech Lake Accord is an agreement between Prime Minister Mulroney and the leaders of the 10 provinces. Its goal was to bring Quebec into the Constitution by recognizing their distinctiveness and to add a new amending formula, along with other small things. It had many problems with it, and for that reason, the Newfoundland and Manitoba legislatures rejected it. It was also strongly rejected by former Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau. He came out of retirement just so that he could oppose the accord, because he, along with many other Canadians, believed that it ruined the Canada that we know and love today. He was the one that introduced the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and this agreement contradicts the equality part of it. Here today is Mr. Trudeau himself to talk about the Meech Lake Accord with us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Trudeau?
Yes, thank you for having me. I am now 68 years old and I was raised in Montreal. I'm proud to say that I was the 15th Prime Minister of Canada and I served my country for 16 years. I started off as a lawyer, but I was brought into politics. After my time as Prime Minister, I retired from politics but came back recently to oppose the Meech Lake Accord. I strongly believe in a unified Canada and I could not watch this accord get ratified. It gives Quebec special powers, and with that, Canada will never be unified. So feel free to ask me any questions on the Meech Lake Accord.
Why did Quebec want special status, and why did many want to give it to them? What do you think about this?
Quebec wanted special status because they thought they were different from the rest of Canada. They spoke a different language, the education system was different, and there were many other reasons. Many in Quebec wanted to separate from Canada and make Quebec an independent country because of this. René Lévesque advised the federal government to grant them special powers and recognize them as a distinct society so that they would stay and Canada could stay unified. What I don't understand is that it is not unity if one province has special powers, so I think that it is a big mistake.
What were the main aspects of the accord besides the distinctive society clause?
Yes, there are many more aspects to the Meech Lake Accord than just the distinct society clause. There are changes to how the senators and Supreme Court judges are chosen. The provinces submit nominations. Changes to the way that the government would be able to amend the Constitution with unanimous consent of all 10 provinces and the federal government. Changes in immigration policies. The federal government would negotiate immigration with the province that requests it, and changes to the role, power, and regional representation of the Senate to make it more useful.
Mr. Trudeau, for what reason did you come out of retirement to object the accord?
There are many problems with the accord. Quebec does not need special powers, and we should not give it to them. They should be treated equally, like the rest of Canada and the provinces. Having nominations given by provinces for the choosing of Supreme Court judges and senators adds a political aspect to it, rather than being simple and just chosen by the Prime Minister. Since having a unanimous vote for changes to the Senate and Constitution is required under the Meech Lake Accord, it will be very hard to make changes and too much power is given to the provinces. Canada will not have a strong central government like I have always hoped for.
How did the Quebecers react to the death of the accord, the rejection of it by Manitoba and Newfoundland, and what status did it give Quebec?
The Quebecers felt betrayed that so many Canadians rejected the accord and that it was not ratified in Manitoba and Newfoundland. But the fact is that there were many problems with the accord. In Manitoba, it was not ratified because the Aboriginals were mad that they did not get recognized as a distinct society as well, and in Newfoundland, Premier Clyde Wells was opposed. It made Quebec seem like they were not part of the Canadian family because so many rejected what they wanted, and if it were ratified, they would finally sign the Constitution. The funny thing is that if the accord were ratified and Quebec signed the Constitution, they would still not be completely part of the Canadian family because their province has special powers. But as I said before, the rejection of Quebec's distinctiveness was not the sole reason that the Meech Lake Accord.
That's enough questions for today. On behalf of all of us from the CBC, I would like to thank you for your time. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.